What up, YouTube? Back with another video. This one's gonna be just a little update, quick update. As y'all can see, it's not looking so good for this subwoofer. I actually put this up in the box to try it out, and it actually shorted. It shorted out the 6K. Yeah, it shorted out the 6K, and I believe it blew out the power output supply on the amp, which has happened to me before. I think it happened last year, and I had to get the amp repaired someplace here in Florida. I'm not sure if it was Amp Medics, but it was someplace close to where I reside, probably a couple hours from here. But took about, I want to say 2 months, maybe almost 2 months for the guy to repair it. And when I got it back, I mean, it's like tip-top working condition. But I don't think it was the repair that blew the amp out again. For me, it was this sub right here. I think it's actually, I mean, it hasn't happened too many times, but I think I got a defective sub when I got this one. And it shorted the amp, like, I want to say within a minute or two. And the sub actually still played after I took the amp out and I put it on a SK15, the 1500x1, the Scar. I had a buddy let me borrow it, so I stuck it on this sub just to see if the sub was still working, and it still played, and it played for about, I want to say maybe almost about 2 weeks. And then just one day out of nowhere, I put it on like a 36 hertz test tone for, I want to say, less than a minute, and the sub just fucking cooked. I mean, I've never had a sub cook so fast. Like, I mean, I had it on I had it on the Scar 1500x1, so it wasn't getting a lot of power. If anything, maybe 800, 900 watts. So I mean, it was way underrated of what these subs are rated. I think the sub's rated at 2K RMS. So the sub was getting, half of what the power rating is on this sub, or what they rate it. So either way, instantly smelled it. And as soon as I smelled it, I mean, I already know the smells, of when a subwoofer is basically done. Cooked it, couldn't do anything about it, so I came home. I sent an email to SSA, which is Sound Solutions Audio. Messaged them a couple times, and they got back to me. They told me to ohm it, which I did. The ohms, apparently before that, I was having issues with the sub. But like I said, I still figured out, I'd try it out on any amp just to see just to see if the amp or the sub would still work. And like I said, it worked fine for about two weeks. So I'm not sure what exactly was wrong with the sub. Maybe it could have been something with the leads, which I'm thinking it was, because the push terminals on this sub were very flimsy. I mean, like, I would insert some A gauge in it and you could barely tug on it and it would just slip right out. I mean, so the terminals were probably some of the flimsiest terminals I've ever had on any of my subs. And for a $500 sub to not be able to keep the wires, inserted in the in the spring terminal is beyond me. You figured, that'd be one of the main things that you would make sure on, on a sub like this, is to make sure that your wires aren't slipping out. But like I said, other than that, came home, message SSA Audio. They told me, they're like, all right, well, go ahead. Ampere Audio wants to take a look at the whole recone and the whole coil to make sure that to make sure that it's a defective subwoofer, that, and I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll go ahead and cut it out, and then send pictures to them. That way they could see that the sub wasn't cooked. Like they're basically, how any company is always thinking, okay, this guy's clipping it, this guy cooked the coil. So right off the bat, I knew exactly what they were looking for. And so as soon as I took the coil out, here's the coil. So yeah, I had a hard time pulling the surround off. And another thing, some spots on the surround, the glue actually came off easy. Like it separated way too easy. So that's another thing about the surround that I didn't like. The lip on the surround where the gasket covers it for me, it didn't have enough glue. Like for a sub to be able to just peel off like that, the glue came, like it pulled off with the surround itself. So it was barely holding on to the basket itself. But as y'all can see, the basket and the magnet looks fairly good. For me, the basket and the magnet look okay. And here is the coil. Spider's intact. Don't see any tears or rips on the spider. No separation. I don't see anything. Good thing these are the bolt down spiders. Tinsel leads are still intact. Now the surround is kind of ripped, but I did that whenever I was tearing it off of the pulling it apart from the basket. So I did not have that before I ripped it off, but either way, the sub was done. There was no point in me trying to keep it together, considering the coil was pretty much cooked. But as y'all can see, other than that little spot right there, which that could have happened whenever it shorted my amp out. But y'all can see the coil is intact. Actually, it still looks brand new. So as y'all can see, I did not clip it. It must have shorted on that 36 hertz test tone, and I didn't even give it that much power for it to cook like that. I will say there's I think there's a small air bubble in here somewhere. Where's it at? Right there. It's a small air bubble. It's kind of hard to see. Yeah, there you go. It's actually an air bubble. It's got air underneath it. Not a burn mark. It's trapped air. And it sticks out. So maybe it could have been. I know it was rubbing when after it cooked on me. It started rubbing. I'm not sure, I forget what you call this piece, but it was rubbing on the inside of the pole piece, the pole vent. It was rubbing around, so obviously something wasn't right. But basically SSA Audio seen that that the coil wasn't damaged or didn't look burned or basically like I clipped it to death. Once they seen that, they're like, okay. Same day, I want to say like an hour later, they got back to me and they said, okay, Ampere Audio is going to go ahead and send you a recone kit. And that should help you out. And I was like, okay, that's fine. That sounds good to me. So obviously they seen that that there was something wrong with the sub. So other than them thinking that I was the one that killed the sub. But either way, yeah, this sub is basically done, as y'all can see. And I have a recone kit coming soon. So what I was gonna do is, as soon as I get that recone kit, I was gonna go ahead and make a video of me reconing it, and then I can show you a video of it. I'll put some power to it to make sure that it was, that I did a successful recone kit. Or a recone job. But that's basically all I got. Just a quick update. I'll keep you updated on the other stuff that I got going on. But for right now, this is all I wanted to talk about. Yeah, until the next one.